Hi YouTube, this is Tom again. It is the 24th of June, 2010. It's a Thursday. Here to give you yet another update on the oil spill, kind of what's going on with it and whatnot. I don't know if a lot of you guys know what's going on, but BP has taken over a lot of the not only the operation of what's going on with the cleanup, but also with the medical aspect, you know, like people getting sick and whatnot, birds being cleaned up and whatnot. And I'm going to tell you what's happening. There was a situation in Louisiana or Florida, or I forget, it was one of the places, and a woman who was a biologist or whatever. She specialized in, but she wasn't with BP, but, she had cleaned up birds, during the past couple of weeks. And off duty, she found a bird that was covered in oil, and she went to go try to help it. Well, BP officials came on the scene like seconds after she did, and they confronted her. Are you contracted through BP? And she, of course, said, no, I'm not, I'm not contracted under BP, and, I'm just trying to clean off this bird and help it. And they said, well, you can't touch it. This is property of BP. And she was very calm about it, and I was very surprised when I read this story that she was that calm about it. But anyways, she had to wait like 30 minutes for the BP officials to contact other BP authorities to see if it was okay for her to clean off the bird. You guys can have your input on this, but I think it's just bogus. I think it's crazy that they're doing this stuff. And not only with animals they're doing this with, but they're doing this with humans. There was a case also with a guy who was very sick. He had oil covering all over him, and he thought that the contaminants or the dispersant was making him sick. Anyways, he went to a facility, and he wasn't in good shape, but the facility wasn't BP's, so he had to be transferred over to BP's facility, and there, like, BP's facilities for medical, like, purposes and decontamination areas, they're completely off, like, they're off limits. They're off limits for interviews, they're off limits for civilians who, are not either working for BP or people who are not sick. You can't go in there. And they've never been open for comment, but the other facilities been very willing to comment on, how many people they've had come in. But lately, the people working at the independent decontamination stations have said, we don't have any people coming here. All the people that come here are redirected to BP's private whatever stations that they subcontracted out of different hospitals, and just very, very fishy stuff that's going on here. And, if people are in that critical condition and they're being bumped around like this, odds are there's going to be a lot of people who are going to, drop dead from this. And, I was reading today, too, about, two people from, the cleanup of BP died. One was from a drowning, one was from a gunshot wound. Maybe that was the case, but it's just a lot of fishy things going around, and, people are going to start dying from this, and they already have. But I wonder how BP is going to justify it, because they did for food poisoning. They justified it with food poisoning, Tony Hayward, for a while. And that was May 22nd, May 30th, around that time frame, whatever. But no, it's all justified. It's crazy, and I want to hear your guys' input on what you're seeing. If anybody is right on the immediate Gulf, I'm not right on the immediate Gulf. I'm about like 40 miles away. I want to go drive out and see what it looks like. I'd probably have to drive all the way to past Destin, Florida, to get up there to see it. But it's just it's crazy stuff that's going on. You know, people. There's been conspiracies also floating around that that this isn't actually oil being spilled. It's actually asphalt. It's an asphalt volcano, and it's actually benefiting the wildlife in the ocean. And the only reason why they're doing this is so that they can benefit themselves by pushing cap and trade, which I understand that they're benefiting themselves by pushing cap and trade and whatnot, but you got to think that there's actual oil. Like, you've seen people pick up actual oil from the beaches, so it would have to be a pretty fabricated hoax for them to do that. But I don't really believe that. I don't think that's possible. I mean, it's possible, but it's not probable, you know? But, there's something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys know this as well, but I've been looking at the forecast models for the past 7 days, the GFRD models, I think, which is, I don't know if it's a Princeton model. I can't remember which model it is, forecast model, for hurricanes. But anyways, I was looking at one of those models, and on weatherunderground.com, so you guys got to check that website out. But they have pretty good forecast models, and it shows a hurricane of about, you know, between 80 to 120 mile an hour winds going right over the spill, right over Deepwater Horizon within the next 5 to 6 days, and go right to Louisiana and right to New Orleans, right to the west of it, where the storm surge could wrap around and push it, because the front right quadrant is not only where the wind field is, it's where the storm surge field is, it's where the tornadoes are, it's wherever all the bad things in the hurricane are in the right front quadrant. So, you know, it's possible, but, you know, it's 5 to 7 days out. So just keep it in the back of your minds that, you know, there could be a Cat 1, Cat 2 hurricane headed towards, you know, New Orleans again. This time with an oil spill, so we will see. But that does happen, and then there's going to be, it's just only the beginning of the hurricane season. It's about to get messy, people. And we had the 5.0 earthquake up in Ontario, which 5.0s aren't that big, but I mean, if you look at the geological history of that area, they haven't had an earthquake that big for about 50 years in that area. So a lot of stuff getting active, a lot of crazy things starting to happen. I don't think there's any sense of panicking, but keep in your mind, back of your mind, that all this stuff is happening. Floods in China, floods in Brazil. Floods are normal. It happens, but it's a lot going on. But I'll talk to you guys later. Let me know what you think.